I'm 34. I was married to Haley for 6 years. Her brother Reese moved in with us 2 years ago after he got laid off and never left. I want to explain how I ended up on my knees at 3 a.m., destroying my back over burst pipes while two people who were supposed to be my family stood there mocking me. Haley's parents never approved of me. Her dad, Wayne, owned a successful construction supply company, and I was just some guy who worked IT support when we met. Haley was finishing her business degree, and I was making decent money. Nothing crazy, but stable. Wayne made it clear at every family dinner that his daughter deserved better. He would ask about my salary in front of everyone, joke about how his son-in-law couldn't afford the good steaks. Haley never defended me, not once. When we bought the house 3 years ago, I put down most of the payment from savings I'd built over years. The mortgage was in both our names, but I was paying 70% because Haley worked part-time at her dad's company. Then Reese showed up. He was supposed to stay 2 weeks. 2 weeks turned into 2 months, turned into 2 years. He contributed nothing. No rent, no groceries, no help with anything. He sat in my living room playing games and drinking while I worked 50-hour weeks. Okay, I need you to sit with this for a second. This man is paying 70% of the mortgage on a house where his father-in-law roasts him about affording steaks. You know how wild that math is? Wayne is out here playing Gordon Gekko at Thanksgiving dinner while his son-in-law is literally funding his daughter's lifestyle and his unemployed son's 2-year gaming retreat. And Haley, working part-time at daddy's company, not building something, not grinding, just existing in the family business while her husband works 50-hour weeks so Reese can have a place to respawn. This is a system. This family built a whole economy around this one dude's labor and convinced him it was love. The basement flooded on a Thursday night. Old pipes finally gave out. Haley told me I needed to handle it because a professional would cost too much, and her dad said any real man should know how to fix his own house. So I spent 17 hours straight ripping out carpet, running the shop vac, trying to save what I could. At 3:12 a.m., they came downstairs. Haley looked at the mess and said I missed a spot, like always. Reese was behind her holding a beer I bought with my money, calling me a breathing tool with debt. Haley smirked and told me not to stop because we still needed the upstairs done. 2 years of him living off me, and she chose his side. Every single time. A breathing tool with debt. I need you to understand something. Reese didn't come up with that at 3 a.m. That insult has been marinating. That's been workshopped in his brain every time he watched this man leave for work while he sat on a couch he didn't pay for. That's rehearsed contempt. And here's what kills me. Wayne says, a real man fixes his own house. But a real man doesn't let his adult son leech off his daughter's husband for 2 years while making beer runs on that man's dime. The audacity of this family to define masculinity while their whole operation runs on someone else's labor? That's not a family. That's a franchise. And OP was the only employee. I stood up. I looked at both of them. I said nothing. I walked past them, went upstairs, took a shower, and sat in my car in the garage for 2 hours. Something in me finally locked into place. Not broke, locked. I had been keeping records for 18 months. Bank statements, receipts, every text where Reese called me names and Haley laughed. I had been waiting for the right moment, and this was it. I spent the next 3 days very carefully. I consulted a lawyer I'd already researched months ago. I moved money that was legally mine into an account only I could access. I documented the state of the house and the improvements I paid for out of pocket. I did everything by the book because I knew they would try to paint me as the bad guy. On day 3, I left the house before either of them woke up. I took my clothes, my laptop, my documents. I left a note explaining I was done and would be in contact through my attorney. I blocked both their numbers and drove to a rental I had found the week before. Yes, the week before. Because some part of me knew this was coming. Then my phone started buzzing. Not Haley or Reese directly because they were blocked, but her dad, Wayne, called from his office line. Her mom, June, called from a number I didn't recognize. Mutual friends started texting asking what happened. By the end of day 3, I had 47 missed calls. And that was when I realized they hadn't expected me to actually leave. They thought I would just keep going. 18 months. This man was playing chess while they thought he was playing doormat. Every insult, documented, every joke, time-stamped, every promise Haley made about Reese paying rent, screenshotted. They thought they were living with a punching bag, but they were living with an auditor. And that line, something in me finally locked into place. Not broke. Locked? That's not a breakdown, that's a boot-up sequence. That's the moment the system finished loading and said, all evidence compiled, ready for deployment. You know what I love? The week before. He found a rental the week before, which means he was sitting in that basement knowing exactly what was about to happen. just waiting for them to give him one more reason to pull the trigger. They thought they broke him. They just activated him. Update 1. So Wayne actually showed up at my workplace. I work at a tech company doing IT infrastructure. Wayne called our front desk pretending to be a vendor and got directed to my floor. He found me at my desk on a Wednesday afternoon and started talking like we were having a casual conversation. Said Haley was confused and hurt. Said I was being dramatic about a little basement joke. Then his tone shifted. He told me he knew people in this industry. His company supplied materials to contractors who worked with firms that partnered with mine. He wanted me to understand that walking out on his daughter would have consequences beyond the marriage. I let him talk for 10 minutes. Then I told him that if he contacted my employer again, I would file a harassment complaint and my lawyer would be in touch. He looked at me like I was speaking a foreign language. Wayne is used to people backing down. He left, but not before telling me I was making a huge mistake. Wayne really social engineered his way past a corporate front desk like he's in a heist movie, just to deliver threats in the middle of an open office. This man has never been told no in his life, and it shows. A little basement joke. His son called this man a breathing tool with debt while drinking his beer at 3 a.m., and Wayne's out here calling it a joke. That's the whole family playbook right there. Abuse you, then gaslight you about the abuse, then threaten your career when you don't accept the gaslight. It's a 3-act play, and they've been performing it for years. But here's the thing about guys like Wayne. They only know how to fight people who are scared of them. The second OP said, lawyer, Wayne's whole operating system crashed. You could see the blue screen of death behind his eyes. What do you mean consequences for me? That's not how this works. Meanwhile, Haley found a way around my block. She created a new Instagram account and started messaging me. She wanted to know why I left without talking first. She said we could work this out if I would just come home. She said Reese felt terrible about what he said. Notice how she didn't say she felt terrible. Just Reese. I replied with one message. Communication goes through attorneys now. I filed for divorce and she would receive papers soon. Her response was immediate and long. I was overreacting. Every marriage has rough patches. Her family welcomed me, and this is how I repay them. She brought up every sacrifice she claimed to make. The part-time job, managing the household, the stress of having Reese there, which she said was hard on her too. Not once did she acknowledge what they said to me that night. She rewrote the whole situation to make herself the victim. My lawyer sent a letter outlining my position. I paid most of the down payment. I paid most of the mortgage. I funded the improvements. I wanted my equity returned or the house sold. Haley's response through her dad's lawyer was that I abandoned the marital home and forfeited my claims. They actually tried that. Reese felt terrible. RHWS felt terrible. Not, I felt terrible for laughing. Not, I'm sorry I smirked while my brother degraded you. Just, RHWS is the one with the feelings here. Pay attention because this is a masterclass in narcissistic deflection. She turned, you left because we abused you, into, you left without talking to me. Like the problem is his communication style, and not the fact that she watched her brother call him a tool and then told him to keep working. She's not sorry. She's confused that the script changed, and her family welcomed me. Welcomed him to what? To pay their bills? To fund Reese's lifestyle? To be the punchline at every family dinner? That's not a welcome, that's a casting call. Congratulations! You've been selected to play the role of Wallet in our family drama. No lines, just funds. But I had documentation of every payment, every receipt, every bank transfer. I also had records showing Reese never paid rent despite Haley promising he would when he moved in. Those texts existed, and I saved them. The real complication came when I found out Wayne was telling people I had a mental breakdown, that I snapped and left for no reason. He was doing damage control before I could tell my side. Then June reached out. She wanted to meet, said she had something to tell me about Wayne and Haley. Update 2. I met June at a diner near her gym. She picked the location because Wayne wouldn't think to look for her there. That should tell you something about their marriage. June didn't have some big secret to reveal. What she had was context. She told me that Wayne had been controlling Haley since she was a teenager. He decided what she studied, where she worked, who she dated. Every boyfriend before me got run off by Wayne's tactics. The reason I lasted was because I just took it. Wayne saw me as someone he could manage, someone who wouldn't fight back. And Haley learned from her father that this was how you treat people who serve a purpose. June said she wasn't telling me this to excuse Haley. She was telling me because she wanted me to understand what I was up against. Wayne doesn't lose. He destroys people who try to leave his orbit. She had seen it happen to business partners, employees, even relatives. She stayed because she was scared of what would happen if she tried to go. I asked her why she was helping me. She said she wasn't helping me. She was giving me information so I could make better decisions. There's a difference. June was looking out for June. Fair enough. June picks a diner near her gym because Wayne wouldn't think to look there. This woman has escape routes mapped out in a marriage she's still in. That's not a wife. That's a hostage with a fitness membership. But I respect the honesty. I'm not helping you. I'm giving you information. June knows exactly what she's doing and why. She's not pretending to be his ally. She's basically saying, here's the terrain map. Good luck, soldier. I'll be watching from behind this very thick wall I've built for myself. And honestly, after 30-something years with Wayne, I get it. Self-preservation isn't pretty, but it's real. Here's what hits different, though. The reason I lasted was because I just took it. Wayne didn't pick OP because he loved Haley. He picked him because he seemed manageable. This whole marriage was a staffing decision. This one won't fight back. Hire him. Here's where things escalated. While I was at that diner, my lawyer called. Haley and her attorney had filed a motion claiming I was dissipating marital assets by moving money into my personal account. They wanted a temporary order freezing all accounts until the divorce was finalized. This meant I couldn't touch my own savings without court approval. I had moved money that was legally mine. Money I earned before marriage sitting in accounts I had before we met. But they were arguing that because we had joint finances for 6 years, everything was commingled. My lawyer said we could fight it, but it would take time and cost money. So now I was paying for a rental, paying legal fees, and potentially locked out of my savings. Meanwhile, Haley and Reese were living in a house I paid for with utilities I set up and food bought with money I earned. You see how this works. They were using the legal system to punish me for leaving. But I had planned for this too. Before I left, I had taken a cash advance from a separate credit line in only my name, enough to cover several months of expenses. They didn't know about this account because I opened it 18 months ago specifically for this scenario. Call it paranoid. I call it prepared. I need you to understand the levels to this man's planning. 18 months ago, while they were still calling him names, while Reese was still drinking his beer, while Haley was still not defending him, this man opened a secret credit line. Not because he was leaving, because he knew that one day, when he did leave, they would try exactly this move. He predicted their legal strategy a year and a half before they made it. That's not paranoia. That's prophecy. This man was living in the future while they thought he was stuck in their basement. And look at the system working exactly as designed. They abuse him for years, he finally leaves, and suddenly he's the one who has to prove he deserves his own money while they live in his house rent-free. The legal system said, "Oh, you want to leave your abuser? Cool. Here's some financial punishment for that." Wayne didn't even have to lift a finger. He just let the process do his intimidation for him. Reese decided to get involved next. He started posting on social media about how I abandoned his sister, how I was a coward who ran away instead of working on my marriage. He tagged mutual friends. He shared old photos of me at family events with captions about how fake I was. He was trying to make sure everyone we knew heard his version first. I saved every post, screenshots with timestamps. My lawyer said it could be useful if we needed to demonstrate a pattern of harassment. Then Haley tried a new approach. She unblocked herself from my phone somehow and left a voicemail. She was crying. She said she missed me. She said she knew things got bad, but we could fix it together. She said Reese was moving out next week and things would be different. I didn't respond. I forwarded the voicemail to my lawyer. REHIS, the man who contributed nothing for 2 years, is out here posting about how OP abandoned his sister. Brother, you abandoned basic human decency when you called your meal ticket a breathing tool while drinking his beer in his house at 3 a.m. You don't get to narrate this story. You were a supporting character and your role was professional couch warmer. And now Haley's crying on voicemail? Reese is moving out next week? Oh, now he's moving out? After 2 years of nothing, suddenly in the middle of divorce proceedings, Reese can find somewhere else to be? Funny how that works. Funny how consequences make things possible that were apparently impossible before. But notice what she didn't say in that voicemail. Not, "I'm sorry for what I said." Not, "I should have defended you." Just, "Things got bad." Like it was the weather. Like abuse is just something that happens, not something she did. Final update. Wayne's move was contacting my employer's HR department. He filed a formal complaint claiming I was harassing his daughter from my work computer. Complete fabrication. But HR had to investigate, which meant I was put on administrative leave pending review. He thought this would break me. Instead, it gave me time. I spent that week compiling everything. Every receipt showing my contributions to the house. Every text from Haley promising Reese would pay rent. Every message where Reese insulted me and Haley laughed along. The voicemails, the Instagram messages, the screenshots of his social media posts. I organized it all and sent it to my lawyer. The HR investigation cleared me in 4 days. My work computer showed no contact with Haley ever. Wayne's complaint was baseless and they documented that he had made false statements. My company sent a cease and desist letter to Wayne. Now he had a paper trail of harassing behavior tied to his business name. Wayne really filed a false HR complaint thinking this'll show him, and ended up with a cease and desist attached to his company name. This man played himself so hard he should be studied in business schools. How to turn your intimidation tactics into legal liability. A Wayne masterclass. He tried to weaponize corporate bureaucracy against someone who works in IT infrastructure. You know what IT people are really good at? Documentation, logs, timestamps. You came for a man who literally organizes systems for a living and thought your lie would just work? And the administrative leave, meant to punish him, gave him a free week to build his case. Wayne accidentally funded his opposition's research department. That's not 4D chess, that's falling off the board and landing on a rake. I requested a meeting with Haley through our lawyers. Neutral location, just the two of us with attorneys present. She agreed because she still thought she could convince me to come back. We met at a conference room downtown. Haley walked in looking like she expected a conversation about reconciliation. I walked in with a folder. I told her I wasn't there to discuss coming back. I was there to explain what happens next. I laid out the financial documentation showing I paid for 73% of everything in that house. I showed the text where she promised Reese would contribute and never followed through. I showed her the screenshots of Reese calling me a breathing tool and her laughing about it. I showed her the Instagram messages where she blamed me for everything without once acknowledging what they did that night. Then I told her my terms. I wanted the house sold and my equity returned based on documented contributions. I wanted Reese removed from the property immediately since he had no legal right to be there. And I wanted a clean divorce with no alimony since she was capable of working full-time but chose not to. Haley tried to argue. She said I was being cold. She said 6 years of marriage meant something. She said her father was just protective and Reese was just joking. She said I was throwing away our life over one bad night. I told her it wasn't one bad night. It was 2 years of her brother living off me, 6 years of her father belittling me, 6 years of her never once defending me. That night in the basement was just when I finally stopped pretending it would get better. She walked in expecting a reconciliation, and he walked in with a folder. That's not a meeting, that's a deposition. She thought she was going to cry her way back into the arrangement and instead got a PowerPoint presentation on why the arrangement is over. 6 years of marriage meant something. Yeah, it meant 6 years of him funding your family. It meant 6 years of your dad asking about his salary at dinner. 6 years of watching your brother insult him and laughing along. That's what it meant, Haley. You just didn't think about what it meant to him. My father was just protective. Protective of what? His investment? His control? Because he wasn't protecting your marriage. He was actively sabotaging it while you watched. Protective fathers don't belittle their daughters' husbands. They don't show up at workplaces with threats. They don't file false HR complaints. That's not protection. That's ownership. Her lawyer advised her to consider the terms. My documentation was solid. Fighting it would cost more than accepting it. Wayne tried one more play. He threatened to drag the divorce out for years. Make it so expensive I would give up? But my lawyer pointed out that his harassment complaint against my employer was now documented. His visit to my workplace was documented. His threats about industry connections were documented. If this went to court, all of that would come out. The house sold 6 weeks later. I got my equity back. Haley moved in with her parents. Reese had to find somewhere else to crash, and I walked away clean. Last week, Haley messaged me one more time. She said I ruined her life. I didn't respond, but I thought about what Reese called me that night. A breathing tool with debt. Turns out the tool finally stopped working for them, and now they're the ones who can't afford the good steaks. You ruined my life, Haley. You were living in a house he paid for, with a brother who contributed nothing, with a father who belittled him at every dinner. You had 6 years to defend him once, and you chose... I missed a spot, like always, at 3 a.m. in a flooded basement. You didn't have a life with him. You had a lifestyle funded by him. Those aren't the same thing. And that ending, now they're the ones who can't afford the good steaks. That's not petty. That's poetry. Every dinner where Wayne made salary jokes. Every comment about what OP couldn't provide. And now, Haley's back at her parents' house. Reese is couch surfing somewhere else. Wayne's got harassment documentation attached to his business name. The whole empire they built on this one man's labor collapsed because the foundation decided to walk away.